Well, hey everybody. I don't know what's going on with the YouTubes right now. I'm looking at the YouTube screen and it's not actually showing live video, Jeff. It says it's live in 7 minutes for some reason now. I don't know why. It should be live. I don't know what's happening. Maybe the chat is working, but hey Matt, is the video live on YouTube? Okay, that's weird because all I see is the thumbnail and it says it's going to start in 7 minutes. That is fan-freaking-tastic. That's great. Technology is my friend or something. Let me reload it just for fun. Oh my gosh.
I'm seeing it.
That's so weird. I don't know why.
The delay is annoying when I'm watching that and talking to you, though.
Yeah. Oh, look, there it is. Anyhow, that's so weird, man. I was like, oh crap, I wonder if we're actually live. It says we're live. Well, it says here we're live, and oh man. But you know what? Hey, Jeff, have I got to do for you, buddy? 3 trucks, bro. 120 grand. And you can make $2,000 a truck, bro. You in?
What kind of operation, Charlie? I don't know. Let's talk about it.
What the hell kind of nonsense are you talking? You know what? I've had enough of your craziness. We'll be right back.
Paying too much for trucking insurance? What if you could save more by making one simple phone call and keep more profit? You could very well do just that with one simple call to Seabright Agency, 800-366-6466. Call now.
You're either running your business like an owner or like an employee. And if you're stuck in that employee mindset, you're leaving money on the table. Company drivers wait for direction. Business owners create opportunities. Company drivers chase miles and just drive. Business owners chase profits and know their numbers. Want to run a real business? Start tracking your numbers. Know your cost per mile and start saying no to bad loads. Drop I run a business in the comments if you're done thinking like an employee. If you want to take this mindset shift further, join the Road Warrior Entrepreneurs community at www.rwedrive.com, where we have profit boosting strategies, coaching calls, and real road warriors winning together.
You wouldn't walk around exposed, so why leave your business exposed? Weak coverage and slow claims are a real risk. Seabright Agency has your back with better prices. Call today.
Call today, Jeff.
Yay!
And you know, if you wanted to call today, I'm sure there's someone that would answer your call. Just saying. And they would be happy to get you some new truck insurance because I know that's what you're looking for right now because you're about to buy these 3 trucks for $120,000 because the dudes, I'm telling you, you're going to make $2,000 a week on it. So just call Seabright at 1-800-366-6466. Yeah, $2,000 per week per truck. Sounds like a hot deal to me, bro. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, in all seriousness, though, this actually came from a question somebody asked on Reddit earlier today. That's where we got the idea from. And boy, the comments on it were spot on, Charlie. I was impressed.
Really?
A lot of them were asking, well, what kind of operation? What lanes? What carrier or is it? Or are you have your own authority? All sorts of questions.
Right.
The one that I've always asked Charlie, because I've asked you this several times. Where are the drivers coming from?
Right. That's the big question, honestly.
But
that seems to be the biggest problem. Fuel in that is our biggest expense, but our biggest headache in a small fleet is drivers.
Absolutely. Now, to be fair, Charlie, you kind of cheated on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I stole them from Swift. Straight up legit. Trained them myself as when they were brand new truck drivers, as students, taught them how to, run a truck while they were with me as I was mentoring them and they were getting paid by Swift. Come on, man. And I said, hey, why don't you come drive for me? If I liked it. And if I didn't, I'm like, yeah, so you go get your check drive done right over there.
Yep.
Have a good career, sir.
So for the sake of everybody here, let's take a look at this type of opportunity, because they don't come around all that often, but they come around often enough to where people need to know how to analyze whether or not a business is worth spending money on, right, Charlie?
Right. And look, they pop up enough that they're just enough of a nuisance when they pop up.
I mean, I had a similar opportunity right here in Tooele, Utah, about a year ago, Charlie. A guy was selling his small fleet of 4 trucks because he had a heart attack and he did not want to drive it, couldn't drive anymore, and he did not want to manage the business anymore.
Right.
So he was selling his 4 trucks, including the contract with it. But would those guys have followed me into the fray?
Right.
Were they loyal to that guy? That's a big, I don't know.
Yeah.
And he had a contract that was a pretty good contract, to haul freight between here and Chicago and back. But when you're buying a contract like that, what's another question? Again, what if one of those guys quits on you?
Right.
You got this contract. It's not like you're Swift. It's not like you've got 14,000 trucks. You got 4.
Yeah.
What happens if? What happens if? So let's look at this particular deal from Reddit. So what looks good on this one, Charlie? 40,000 per truck. That's pretty much on par with what used trucks are today.
Yeah.
Projected week net sounds even better at $6,000 a week, although he did not say how that was possible.
Right.
Right. A lot of people, they look at stuff like this and they automatically think more trucks equals more revenue. Maybe, maybe not.
I like that they're talking about net, though. That's already a plus.
Yeah. Yeah. A weird thing is, so I started watching Reddit more. I've never been a Reddit person until the last few weeks, Charlie.
You're right.
Reddit is not Facebook.
No.
I don't know if you know this.
Right.
There's actual like conversations on Reddit.
Yes.
Like guys going, well, I tried that and here's what happened when I tried that.
Exactly. Not
Good,
just
bad, and the ugly.
shut up, you're dumb.
Right. Right.
Mr. Trumpanista. Look, I got
Already,
the
Charlie?
first 10 minutes.
Charlie. Man, if I was still in that custom Western Star, I just dust.
That's 10 minutes and 15 seconds, sir.
So the other thing that's attracted to people, though, Charlie, is that prospect of
Right.
going from a single owner operator to a fleet owner. And we've seen, we know people, Charlie. You and I know people
Yes.
that had fleets of up to like 40 trucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they are not in business today.
Right.
And we could discuss why that is probably in another show.
Yeah.
Would be a good one to do in the future.
I won't name names.
No, never. I would never name names on that. That's not something you do. You don't call
Right.
people out like that on. Well, other people might. I don't do that.
This ain't that kind of show.
No.
We keep our clothes on. Wait, what?
So there's one real attractive number in this whole scenario, Charlie, and that is $6,000 a week.
Right.
And a lot of people would see that number and they just stop asking questions. Well, that sounds good to me.
Yep.
You know,
26K net. Okay.
you know, yeah. So what are questions that you would ask, Charlie, if you were handed that opportunity?
Well, and we've actually seen some here in the chat already, or you brought some up. How am I seating these trucks? Are your drivers willing to stay? Do they have long-term plans to do this? Are they liking what they're doing? Or are they out like you're out? Why are you going out? I mean, you got to at least get a feel for why this guy's parting with his 3 trucks. Are these 3 trucks, has he been having problems with them? If he's netting $6K a week, I know we don't like this number, but what is he grossing? If he's grossing $30K a week, but only netting $6K a week, there's an indication there that something isn't quite right.
Well, maybe not, Charlie. If he's paying his drivers well,
Possibility.
his payroll
too,
could be the bigger expense.
right?
See, in my mind, knowing the numbers that I know, I mean, you're the one that had a small fleet. I never had a
Yeah.
small fleet. So everything I know is theoretical and working with small fleet owners on their businesses, right?
Right.
$2,000 a week per truck, to me, actually feels on the high side of business profit for the owner.
Yeah.
Because you got to be able to compete with Swift, Schneider, and Warner for those drivers.
Unless one of the questions you asked and the answer came out that I've got my own dedicated private customers.
Right. Well,
Right?
there was that opportunity that was put before us going from Minnesota to California, Charlie.
Yep. And that would,
Dedicated wineries.
yep.
You took casks to California and you brought wine back out
Yep.
every week. Very lucrative.
Yeah. Penalties for breaches of contract. More good questions.
Yep.
What are the contract guidelines that are there? What lanes are they running? I mean, all these things.
How old are the trucks?
Yeah.
Are they at that midlife point where you're going to have to spend 20 grand next year on maintenance?
Right. What kind of routes are they running? I mean, are they running farm roads? Are they running interstate?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so many questions we could ask here. I mean, it's crazy. I think that some of the basic ones we've briefly touched on already, and maybe we go in deeper to some of those questions. But like you said, I mean, there are so many questions that need to be asked. But so many people would just say 120 grand, 3 trucks, 6 grand a week I get in my pocket. Sign me up, bro.
Yep.
And then what?
Yeah. You got to ask the money questions, Charlie.
Yep.
What's insurance going to cost you for those 3 trucks? Is there a history? Were they using the Road Warrior Entrepreneur's fuel mileage app so you can
Right.
track what the fuel mileage was on those trucks?
Right. Shameless plug.
Maintenance. Again, what maintenance cycle are they in? Because you and I have both had old trucks.
Right.
And there is that time where you have to have saved a sizable amount of money because it's time to do some major maintenance. Now, again, I will beat this drum forever, Charlie. If you can get through that major maintenance without going bankrupt, you basically got a brand new truck.
Right.
So, like mine started at about 800,000 miles. So as I started replacing components, radiator at one point,
Yeah.
couple of injectors at one point, things like that. In my mind, I'm like, okay, so those injectors lasted me 780,000 miles. So the next set should also last me 780,000 miles.
Or 2,000.
Or 2,000. Did that happen to you?
No, I just seen it happen. They're like, yeah, man, I made a 1.4. The next set was like 10 grand. I'm like, damn.
Wow. Things that Charlie, so if you're going from being a single truck owner operator to being a fleet owner, what about your payroll? You and I have both been in situations where we didn't pay ourselves
Right.
because of maintenance problems. Maybe we went on vacation. whatever the reason is, we just didn't pay ourselves that week.
Yep. You
You
can't do
cannot
that with guys.
do that with employees.
No, man, they're gonna string you up. They're coming after you, or they're going to start selling fuel off your card.
I've heard of that happening.
I've seen it happen. I've had guys, hey man, you want to fill up your tank? I only charge you $1 a gallon.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why. So I don't know if you know this, Charlie, but on the ES card, there is a way of if you're with one of their preferred carriers at ES, so
Right.
Panther, FedEx, and I don't know that I'm allowed to say what the others are.
Right.
Those are the two that everybody knows that they contract with.
Yeah.
So for fleet owners, they have the option that the card does not turn on for fuel until your loaded call.
Right.
And that keeps people from stealing fuel from them,
Yeah.
basically. And the other trick to do too is you only put so much money on the card. So they can only rip you off for so much.
I like this one. If you're buying the company, is the company up to date and current on taxes and such?
Yes. If you're buying a whole LLC.
Right.
That's something though too, even if you're not buying the company, I think, because the tax man will put liens on assets.
Right.
So let's say this jackwagon, let's just say he's a jackwagon. Let's call him Pope. And Pope's got 3 trucks he's trying to sell you.
We can call him JP. Sorry.
JP. Okay. And JP owes the IRS, I don't know, $300,000. So what does the IRS do? They put a lien on those trucks. And I actually don't know the answer to this, Charlie. What happens if you buy those trucks? Can you buy those trucks? You certainly couldn't borrow any money for them.
You wouldn't be able to title them, I don't think, with the liens on them.
Right. So I guess that problem would solve itself, I guess.
I think. I'm not positive, but it's a good question.
You know, that might be one good question might be for Colton over at Trucker CFO is, if you're buying a whole business though, and the business owes taxes, do you inherit that tax debt? That's something I don't know.
I think it could be contractual. But if the contract isn't very clear, you could very well be taking that debt and not even knowing you did it. If you didn't do any real due diligence. I mean, if you're buying a company, you better be deep in the books.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a thing.
Well, if you look at how big companies do this, there's that disclosure period before a merger.
Right.
Where the company that's buying the other company, by law, the company being sold has to open their books completely to the company that's buying.
Yep.
And people go to jail for not disclosing everything. It's a big deal. So I would say, and you know, one of the things that I've said for the longest time, so this usually ends up being an argument over taxes and rich people.
Right.
Oh, stupid rich people have all those loopholes. There's no such thing as a loophole, Charlie.
Right.
We all live under the same tax code. I'm going to say, if you're making a deal like this, act like a big business.
Yeah.
Maybe have an attorney draw up a thing where mandatory disclosures are part of the deal.
Attorney? Why would I do that? He said he's just going to sell me the trucks for 120 grand. I'm going to make $6,000 a week, Jeff. That's all I need.
Okay. I mean, if you want to do that. Charlie's the guy, though, that hired an attorney to look at his first Swift contract to make sure it was a decent deal.
This guy right here.
Well, what did it cost you? A couple $100?
No, it was like $1,000.
Was it?
Oregon Coast, bro.
Oh, yeah. But the attorney made it so that you could understand what the damn thing said, right?
Broke it down to me like I was in 3rd grade, and we went through word for word, which is what gave me the ability to later on be able to, you know, start understanding the contracts that you and I were reading and helping people with.
Mm-hmm.
That first real breakdown helped me understand what all of these big fancy words were.
Yeah.
In a level that, you know, was just simple. I mean, okay, quick side note, but part of this. I got Rosie using AI stuff, and I told her, look, I'm like, I don't know what the hell your labs are saying, right? I know what your A1C is. I know this, but I don't know what these things mean together,
Right.
right? And I don't know what they're indicating. So why don't you throw it into AI? I'm like, but not my AI. I need you to start your own AI. Huh?
That
I
was
got her. I got her in the
history.
Gemini, bro.
Yeah.
Because it's in her phone, it's ready. She's been using it, not necessarily up front, but when she searches, it pops up, and she'll use those little pop-ups from the Gemini sidebar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, now take your labs, throw it in there, and then I want you to tell it, explain this to me as if I were in 6th grade. Because the first report was like, it was just like reading lab reports, right? As soon as I said, explain it to me like at a 6th grade level, everything was crystal clear and we understood everything from end to end. So that's what I did with the lawyer. Now you don't have to do that so much. I mean, we've even got a GPT that, I use to analyze contracts, right? Yeah, that's legit though.
Yep. My attorney uncle called me dumb because we can't say that word in 2026.
Right.
Sorry, Mike, for signing my first contract after he read it.
Yeah.
Well, so again, we're still on a squirrel here, and we'll get down to like freight and all that stuff. But attorneys, they work for their client. One of the most interesting interviews I've ever listened to in my life was this attorney that does high net worth divorces.
Mm.
And he was making that point that, look, I work for my client.
Right.
And my client could be bat snot crazy, but I'm going to work for that client.
Right.
And that's what attorneys do. Now, people, there's so many lawyer jokes out there, and there's kind of a reason for it. But the real reason why attorneys are what they are is if they do not do everything they can for their client, they lose their law license.
Right.
They're out of business.
I mean, for real, sanctions, to some extent, jail time.
Mm-hmm. So Mike, your uncle was working for you. Swift lawyers are working for them.
Right.
So that's where attorneys are gold.
That was a huge thing with mine. Was he helped me understand this contract was not written to my benefit, but let me understand and know that here's what you can do. Here's the limits you can work within, the things that you can process. Right.
Mm-hmm.
If you're okay with that, you do you. It wasn't a should I sign it or not type of deal. This literally was, I need you to break this down. I don't need the opinion of whether or not I should accept it or not. I need the information and the facts that I can process in my head the way that it works in its squirrely magic to make a decision on for myself.
Right.
So yeah, I'm sorry.
So yeah, I mean, this is a good chat because Charlie, I would not have guessed that people would be that into the contract. That actually gives me some hope.
Right.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because that is a question, is if you're buying these trucks. Now there's an assumption here, and the Reddit wasn't clear on where the guy got the opportunity, what he was doing right now, things like that, other than he was a single truck owner operator. Are you buying, let's say, are you a Landstar guy, and another Landstar guy is retiring, and that's where you're getting this opportunity, so you already know the system, you know the contract? Or you're buying an opportunity at a different carrier?
Right.
Or are you buying an authority? That all matters. Those are essential questions that need to be answered. Because the contractual thing, our friends will tell you, Jenny and what's his name? Sage will tell you, I'm pretty sure, every rate con is a contract.
Right.
So understand those contracts if you're going to go do that. If you're gonna build a small fleet at Panther, understand the Panther contract before you do it. If you're at Swift, heaven help us.
Yeah.
Building a small fleet at Swift, understand that contract and what you can and cannot do. One of the more interesting things, Charlie, did you know this? And this happened when California passed their stuff against contracting. FedEx now requires you to have an LLC and pay your people on a W-2 if you're a fleet owner.
Right.
Yeah.
They want to know that you're running a business and that those guys aren't going to come after the FedEx pockets.
Yep.
They need that indemnification, not just the words, but actions in the indemnification.
Well, and silly me, I read the ICOA in my Panther truck, even though I was renting that custom Western Star, not leasing it.
Yep.
So I was renting it from the small fleet owner, basically. One of the things, Charlie, that I thought was interesting about that contract, and this is something to keep in mind, in order for me to do a misclassification lawsuit, I had to sue 2 people before I could even get to Panther.
Right.
That's amazing. When you figure out how deep these contracts go, what are your rights?
Right.
What is your recourse if something doesn't go the way you want it to go?
Yep.
A lot of these contracts, the answer to that is, there is none.
Right.
I mean, really. So that brings us to, where's the freight coming from if you're looking at an opportunity like this? Again, if it's a lease opportunity where you're leasing the trucks onto someone else's authority, well, who controls that freight? Do you have access to a load board? Is it dispatched? What is it?
Right. Yeah. How's it managed?
Yeah. And are those numbers that guy's telling you? Where did he get those numbers from? Is that from last week or is that from the last 4 years?
Right.
And like Charlie, I've seen Charlie call people out on this in person when we've been hanging out.
What? No.
Show me your settlement.
Right.
Prove it to me.
I made $4,000 last week.
Yeah, okay, that's because you turned in 3 trips from the week before, but whatever.
Right. You scanned 14 trips in this week because you forgot to do all the paperwork for the last 2 weeks. I get it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And this should interest people. A question that nobody ever asks, including myself, Charlie, in the past. What happens when the market changes? What happens to your business? Is there a plan for that?
Right.
Or are you just buying the trucks and hoping that freight just magically appears out of some fairy's bum?
Rainbow unicorn soft serve.
That's right. Love that commercial. Squatty potty.
Yes.
And what about management, Charlie? Who manages those drivers in those trucks?
Do you have that experience, Jeff, to manage a small fleet of drivers?
I do and I don't. I have management experience, but not necessarily managing drivers.
I can assure you, whole different world than any other field I've been in. Even if you look, coming from a military background, even if you were to get, all these ex-military guys that drive for you, just the fact that they're drivers is a whole new world. I'm just saying. So managing this industry's individual drivers I'm telling you, it's taxing.
Well, I've told people that, I've been a big truck driver for 20 years, and we are a strange lot, our little community.
Yes. That's a nice way.
Well, you take any you take any issue, ask any question at the liar's counter. And let's say that there's 10 guys at the liar's counter at a truck stop.
Yep.
You ask a question, those 10 guys, you're going to get 12 different answers.
At least. Yeah. And the guy that gave you the first answer, by the end will give you the opposite answer.
Right.
Because, why not just make it even worse?
Right. We are agitators by nature.
Narc,
That's a good way to put it, Charlie.
what?
What's Narc saying now?
No, I heard agitator.
Oh, yeah.
My bad.
So who handles the driver's problems? That is most likely you, the fleet owner.
Wait, first question, Jeff, before that even.
Mm.
Because you're going to have to manage these guys. Are you going to keep driving?
Right. Well, remember Frank.
Right.
He was driving with his lady. When we first met Frank, he had what, 4 trucks?
I don't remember off the top
He
of my
was
head.
doing FedEx Custom Critical with straight trucks.
Right.
Making really good money, by the way. But he had that one dedicated run his one truck did,
Yep.
and his drivers blew the load.
Yeah.
And FedEx came and told him, you can still have that contract, but they ain't driving it.
Right.
What are you going to do, fleet owner?
And you better fix this run.
Yep. So you know what he did? I mean, I actually think Frank's kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
Because he was using his presence on Instagram to recruit drivers.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
It was like an endless pool. Not always great, but boy, he could get through them.
Oh, yeah. And he would just create these crazy videos, and it got him a following on Instagram. And then he'd be like, hey, by the way, if you want to drive truck, I got an opportunity for you.
Yeah.
And he always had drivers. So, but yeah, so how do you handle that? The carrier is going to come to you if your guy messes up and say, Charlie, you need to fix this.
I had a driver that Swift told me, fix him, get rid of him, or we get rid of you.
Right.
Because of accidents.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. I mean, it was a very short conversation from the Swift side to me on this very subject. And upon his next little lack of vision,
Mm-hmm.
I let him know flat out, you can fix it like it never happened, since there is no one else involved and no damage to other property, or you can report it, pound sand, and find a new job, because I ain't losing my contract.
Yeah. What about breakdowns, Charlie? Who handles the breakdowns?
Right.
That's going to depend on whether it's your own authority that you're buying,
Right.
leased to a carrier. And I could tell you that Panther was much different than Swift, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So at Panther, because it's kind of a weird thing working with ES. And they don't watch this anyway, so I don't know if we're going to get in trouble for this, but they don't watch us anyway.
Whatever.
So the truck is leased through ES, not through Panther. So truck breakdowns go through ES.
Right.
Trailer breakdowns go through Panther because it's Panther equipment.
Right.
Totally different than like a Swift. To be honest with you, Charlie, that was one of the issues I had with this fleet owner.
Right.
I had to figure that out on my own. There was no documentation in the binder at all about how to handle breakdowns.
Right.
So that's another thing. Again, managing your employees. Do they know how to handle a breakdown?
You're right.
Or are they calling you at 2:00 in the morning saying, hey, the truck's broke down?
And
Seems to me like there needs to be a system in place for that.
And if you're someone like Sage and you find out, a day later that an entire tandem set is missing,
And in a different state, probably.
right? I'm just saying.
But that's the next thing on my little thing, Charlie, is who answers the phone at 2 a.m.?
Right.
Are they calling the carrier? Are they calling you? Do you have a dispatch service that they're supposed to call? That's something that we don't cover very much because in our world as contractors to carriers, that's not really a thing.
Right.
But so for those of you that don't understand and don't know this part of the business, there are dispatch services. So you can hire a dispatch service to dispatch your small fleet of trucks when you have your own authority. So you don't have to hire a full-time dispatcher. You can outsource that. Advantage of that, Charlie, is it costs me as the carrier less money than to have a full staff of dispatchers for my 10 trucks.
Right.
The other side is what we heard from Sage about that one dispatcher not being all that helpful.
Right. Well, to be fair, they were part of a carrier that he had contracted with to haul load, but still, I mean, clearly that dispatcher at that carrier was managing what? Because it didn't sound like they were managing that load.
Right.
So, I mean, that could literally play into, you hiring a dispatch service to handle your stuff, and how well are they going to handle those situations when they pop up?
Yeah.
Are they going to blow it off?
And thanks for that clarification, because I think that's where I was really going, is a dispatcher that is dispatching for me at Mortco Transportation,
Right,
and Charlie at DBX Trans or whatever yours is called, and Matt Trucking. Let's say we all had our own authority and we hired the same dispatch service.
right.
How much accountability do you think there is there? That's something to consider.
Right.
And then my favorite question for this little section, Charlie, is one that we haven't asked in a while. Are you building a business, or are you just paying for a job?
Right.
Because in my world, in Clarity Compass business coaching, one of the things I try to get people to do is look at, are you just busy because you can't figure out how to delegate things in your business?
Right.
Are you running into that? Well, I missed my daughter's concert again because you're too busy in your stupid business.
Right.
Even in trucking, it's a little harder in trucking, because if you're actively driving, you have to be out on the road. So it is different in business. So I don't want you guys to feel bad because Jeff's saying that you should be home more.
Right.
I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that your business in some form should be serving you and not the other way around.
Right.
Don't be paying for a job.
You should be working in your business, not on your business. Wait.
Other way around.
Squirrel broken.
Well, the ultimate goal, even in trucking,
Right.
Charlie, I think should be, and this is where we as an industry kind of fail ourselves. I think that the small fleet owners have something that those of us that were always just single truck owners don't have. And that's the opportunity to step back from the business.
Right.
Because as a single truck owner, what we do is we have to go out there, kill it, drag it home, and eat it.
Yeah.
If you're a small fleet owner, and I talked to Colton, the trucker CFO, about this at length at one point, because Charlie and I, we were thinking about building a small contractor's corner fleet as a training base for people that think they want to be an owner operator,
Right.
and get them to a place to where they're not going to go broke when they do it.
Yeah.
And I agree with his assessment. To really step back from the business and not be a driver anymore, you need about 8 trucks. Because of those 8 trucks at any given time, 3 of them are going to be either broken down or unseated.
Right.
And so you need the other 5 trucks to pick up the slack while those trucks are down, which is another thing that people don't think about when they look at opportunities like this. Is 3 trucks going to be enough to do what I want to do with my business?
Right.
Or like with, and I just said his name, Charlie, and I forgot it because I'm
Frank.
Frank, when we first met him, he was still driving. He had 4 trucks. Last time we saw him, he was up to 7 trucks. And I think his goal was to grow it enough to where he could just manage the business. That was his thing. So that was a goal of his, though, Charlie. That he had that. This is what I'm doing,
and it was a tracked goal.
So if you start with 3 trucks, so you've got your truck that you have now, Charlie, and then you're going to buy 3 trucks. So now you got a fleet of 4.
Right.
Is that just a stepping stone to the next level, or are you just going to be good with that?
Again, I think it depends on the individual.
I think you have to have a plan, though.
Right.
I think before you make the leap into buying those other 3 trucks, you need to sit down and say,
oh, yeah,
this is why I'm doing this. And it's a stepping stone, or it's this is what I'm doing, and this is where I'll be.
Right. This is what I want. This is it.
Right.
Let me get this comment real fast just because I don't want to lose it. Mike said, yeah, he made the mistake of not telling his drivers to call him before calling on road. Got a $2,000 tow bill for something really stupid. I can relate to this. One of my guys had a flat tire. Went to the shop at the Walmart that we had there in McClenny, Florida. Told the guys, hey, we got a flat on the tractor. They're like, all right, pull it around. They replaced the tire. I found this out the next day or a day after, and I said, so what was wrong with the tire? They're like, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? It was flat. Well, why was it flat? Well, I don't know. Was it damaged? Was it repairable? Was it sidewall damage? I mean, what? I don't know. They said they just gave me a new tire. They didn't give you nothing. They charged me for a new tire that didn't match any of the other ones you had, which means I have to deal with that whole part of it still too.
Right.
And so I called the shop and I'm like, hey, you guys took a tire off one of my trucks. Tell me what was wrong with that tire. They're like, I don't, we didn't even inspect it, bro. They said it was flat and they wanted it changed.
What?
Oh, in what world do you think that's okay? They're like, well, they're contractors. I'm like, no, they're employees of mine. I understand why you think that that's something different, and that's on them for coming to you that way. But how did you not inspect the tire? Well, it was flat. Guy,
yeah, but did it need a plug or did it need to be replaced?
Bro, there was nothing wrong with it. There was a valve stem. It was a bad valve stem.
Oh.
Now, thankfully, when they changed the tire, they replaced the valve stem. Otherwise, they would have just had the same problem with the new tire.
Right.
And you know as well as I do, they don't always change the valve stems at this carrier.
Right.
I mean, for us, it's something we actually have to specifically say up front when we're getting the work done. I need the valve stems changed.
Well, and how many times have you been told, well, we don't normally do that?
Right. Right. It's like, I mean, I don't know. You're speaking Chinese to them. And what? So finally, I told him, and this is what I told him. I said, find my tire. Told this to the shop. I also told my driver, I'll tell you what I told my driver afterwards. I told the shop, find my tire, put it back on my truck. There's nothing wrong with that tire. Well, we don't know where it is. What do you mean? Well, we just threw it out there in the stack of the bad tires. It's not a bad tire. You told me so. You don't know nothing about it. Dude, that thing still had half tread life. And you know how I am with tires, and my guys were actually really good at keeping track of that stuff as well.
Yeah.
So they weren't eating up tires. The lot there was crap. So it was a very common thing to pick stuff up, get a flat. But they never inspected the tire. They did finally find the tire, because I told the shop, I'm not paying for that tire. I want my tire back. I'm not paying for this tire. Figure it out. They ended up finding the tire, giving me back the tire, did not change the tire back onto the rim. They said, here, just keep it, man. Now you got a spare. What I told my drivers while this was all happening, the one that made that wonderful decision, if they charge me for that tire because you didn't follow up, you made this decision for my bank account, I'm making this decision for your bank account. If I get billed for that tire, I'm billing you for that tire. Look, I don't know how I didn't get sued because I threaten them all the time. I'm like, dude, you do this to my truck and I'm gonna punch you in the face. Right? I don't know how I never got sued, except for the fact that I think they actually believe me. You know what I mean? Like, hostile work environment probably wasn't an accurate description at times. It was a potentially violent workplace. I don't know what to say. It's not like I'm just being real here. You know what I mean?
Well, I tell people all the time, people on the show don't get how Charlie and I talk in real life.
Right.
And Donna does not appreciate how I talk sometimes because the soldier comes back sometimes.
Yes.
It's not all that often, but every once in a while, the soldier in me comes back out.
And that soldier life, you ain't afraid to throw hands over, you stole my carton of milk.
Right.
That was my carton of milk. I don't care if it was outdated. It was my carton.
Well, it's all shelf stable, so who cares?
Yeah, But yeah, but luckily it worked out for me. But like Mike said, $2,000 problem.
Right.
How do you eat that? Are you prepared to eat that?
Well, and this brings us to the next point, kind of, Charlie, because you just told kind of a horror story.
Yeah.
This is one of the headaches of owning a small fleet. If your guys are going to do you right, can you even keep guys in the seat? So you really got to ask yourself, why do you even want more trucks? Is this something that's been a long-term, I kind of want to have, to expand my business. I mean, do you want more money? You want to get out of the truck yourself? More home time? More home time is a big deal for me. You know that, Charlie, because this last 2 years at Panther kind of killed me. Because I was used to going out for maybe a month.
Right.
And then being home for a month.
Right.
Are you trying to build assets for yourself? Because that's one of the things about, especially if you're buying trucks and not leasing trucks, Charlie.
Right.
You are building an asset for yourself. Those trucks are worth something. They'll never be worth nothing.
Right.
You can at least sell them for scrap for a couple $1,000s, usually. Here's something that people don't think about. Charlie and I didn't think about this until a couple years ago. Are you building something that you can sell? Yeah, when Charlie and I first really got into wanting to be entrepreneurs and not just plain truck driver entrepreneur.
Right.
Right. Because I probably just offended half the people out there, Charlie.
You did it. It wasn't me.
But it's a thing.
Let me fix it.
People get in the recruiter's office and they get sold on you're a business owner without knowing anything about being a business owner.
Right.
But really successful entrepreneurs, the type of guys that are worth tens of millions of dollars that Charlie and I have followed, and some of them we've actually talked to, they'll build a business and then sell it.
That's the purpose of the building of the business.
Right. To create enough value to where someone will pay 10 times earnings for that business. And I know of at least one dude that has done this with small trucking fleets 3 times.
Right.
Build them and then sold them. It's what he does. I don't think the dude's actually driven a truck in years, but he knows how to build these trucking businesses and then sell them to somebody that wants it's usually in the trucking industry. It's you want a plug and play business. That's why you would buy it. And this is some people, I have met these people, Charlie, that are a little more altruistic. They actually want to create jobs for other people.
Right.
And that's something philosophically that Charlie and I talk about from time to time amongst ourselves, is how many jobs we create just from what we do. Okay, it's not a great job, but that cashier at Pilot has a job because you stopped in and bought a candy bar.
Right.
It's amazing what the pin action is on any business. And we've also met these people, Charlie, ego.
What?
Bigger looks more successful. That's what they're after. They're after that ego trip. None of these are wrong answers, by the way, guys. I'm not an ego type person. Charlie's not an ego type person, but I have no problem with someone that is, as long as they treat their people right.
Right.
That's the real litmus test to me on a business owner, Charlie. How do you treat your people?
Right.
I don't care that it's an ego trip for you.
Clearly, we all know now that I threaten to punch people in the face.
Right. You're a terrible, terrible person.
Terrible person.
So in other words, and Charlie, we talk about this in the Road Warrior Entrepreneur School group quite a bit. What does success look like to you? Not what it looks like to Jeff, not what it looks like to Charlie, not what it looks like to Matt, not what it looks like to Narc.
Right.
What does it look like to you? And then, you know what I'm going to say, Charlie? Write that stuff down.
Yep.
Look at it. Keep it in your mind.
Mike said, I made so many mistakes. Knowing what I know now, I'd do it again. Of course, my wife would divorce me. At least then I would have more time to work on my business.
That's legit. I'm
but
not
then
gonna
no
argue
one would
with
be
that.
there to touch your no-no square. What?
What?
Stop it. See, I can't help. I didn't say like
So
that.
Charlie is the reason why YouTube has that little check mark that says not intended for children.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. I ain't gonna argue it.
So going into something like this, if you're going to build your business, you have to understand a couple things. Bigger isn't always better. Revenue can actually go up. Your gross profits, your gross revenue can go up while your profits go down. We've been seeing that a lot recently with the fuel prices.
Yeah.
What was it this week, Charlie? It went up it went up 20 cents again.
20 cents this week, 20 cents last week, steady across the nation.
So right now, you could actually have your trucks running and make less this week than last week. Bigger isn't always better. Your risk also goes up because you're injecting more variables into your business.
Right.
You know, when it's just me out there on the road in my custom Western Star, that's 3 times, by the way.
Damn it. 54.25.
All I have to worry about is me and those stupid four-wheelers around me. That's it. When Charlie had his small fleet, he had to worry about him, the four-wheelers around him, and what his jackass drivers were doing.
Yeah. Is he running into another yellow wall today?
That's the thing. So there's a stress
out
point.
his
here.
driver window. Just saying.
What?
Bro.
Did you just say that?
That was the last one. That's the one where he was told, fix it or you're out.
Oh,
Don't
my.
care how it happens. If I see that truck, it cannot have a yellow dented mark.
Wow. Cash requirements, your reserves, they've got to go up if you've got more trucks because, again, especially if you've got one of these contracts, right, where you've got to haul that freight and your contract says you got to haul it, the customer don't care. Can you afford to rent a Ryder truck to service those loads while the truck's in the shop?
Right.
That's a consideration. And let's be real, Charlie. Your personal workload goes up.
Oh. Yes. Yes, it does.
And I would argue from the Clarity Compass side until it doesn't.
Right.
Because the goal should be to get to a point where you can start hiring people to do some of this stuff for you.
Right.
Even if it's on what's called a fractional basis.
Yep.
Like you could hire, well, if you have Trucker CFO, he's your fractional CFO. You're
Right.
paying him X amount per week to do your books for you. So you don't have to.
Right.
Dispatch services. When you first start out, my guess is you're going to be dispatching your own trucks, but you want to get to the point to where you can afford
Right.
to outsource that.
And even better, bring it in-house. and be able to pay someone to do that.
Right.
That's the step up, right? Step.
So anytime you are looking at a growth opportunity, I'm going to argue this. It only matters if it improves the business owner's life.
Right.
In some way. Now, there are people, and I was one for years, Charlie, you know this about me, workaholics. My dad was a workaholic. I'm a workaholic. I will work until I drop. So for me, the excitement of owning a business is actually an endorphin rush for me.
Right.
So taking on more is actually kind of improving my life. Not everybody's like that.
Right. It can be very detrimental to some.
Or you could get to the point where I did, right? The reason I'm not driving anymore, the diabetes monster,
Diabetes.
is just too much for me at this point. So I had to step back. You gotta watch your health, man. You gotta watch your health. That's one of those factors that I think we, especially as dudes, tend to not do.
Tom Bell, we're hoping you're not going that route, of course. Dispatch and ELD systems in Eastern Europe? Hey now. Not money well spent, if you ask me.
The most fluid business model in the industry. Is that a good way to put it?
Yes. Yes, that is yes.
So, main point here is, so we gave you a real world scenario that a guy is working through right now. Like I said, the post showed up this morning. So he's actively working this problem for himself, and he's getting advice from people. And again, Reddit, not Facebook. So he's actually getting decent advice, which is cool. Stop making business numbers from business decisions just from that one number.
Right.
You know, we at Swift right now, we have guys making decisions based on rate per mile versus that percentage thing. Just
that even worse. It's not even the rate that they're getting. It's the percentage of the rate they think they're getting because they don't understand what the hell they're talking about to start with.
Right. But they're only looking at one number.
5%.
They're only looking at one number.
Right.
And that number is the rate on the mileage contract. That's all they're looking at.
Right.
DOT numbers with a Sharpie.
Yes.
People should. Have you seen those, Charlie? The trucks with just like the whiteboard on there?
Yes.
Yeah, they do that.
I like the tearaways.
Mm-hmm.
They're just stacked.
Some people look at weekly gross, which drives us nuts here at Contractors Corner. Because, you know, the saying has been around longer than we've been alive, Charlie.
Right.
It doesn't matter what you make. It matters what you keep.
I was not watching nor listening to. I was actually trying to get to our channel to pull up our channel so I could have the second screen like I normally do to see the YouTube performance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I clicked on. I told Jeff earlier. I clicked on it. It was damn Todd's channel that was on this tab when I opened it up.
Yep.
He had just put out a live like yesterday or something.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, and I was scrolling through it just because now I'm there, right? So I couldn't hear it. There was no sound. I was looking at the comments that were popping up on the bottom. And one of them said, because he's at a new company now, shocker. He's at a new company now. And shut up, T-Bone. I'm not listening to you either. But one of the comments that popped up said, wow, 10 grand a week gross. I'd be interested in that.
Why?
I have no idea how he responded to it. But that's the mentality. That's the thing we're talking about. Those are the things that are the problem in our industry for our people, the people on this side of that equation, not the carrier, the contractor, the guy driving the truck, the guy running the business, driving the trucks. Don't give a damn about the gross. I mean, it's got to be part of the equation because that's what gets you to the bottom line. The most important number is what's on the bottom line.
Yep.
But so many people are making their decision based on, oh, 10 grand a week gross. I'm in.
99-cent fuel.
Oh my God.
That's another one we've seen recently.
No, you went there.
People will look at truck payment. Swift's truck payments, by the way, are on the low end of a lease program,
They really are.
but their balloon payment is on the higher end.
Right.
So you got to look at the whole picture. A lot of guys are like, oh, I can afford $679 a week for that Freightliner. Okay. Do you want to own the truck because it's going to cost you 80 grand on the other end?
Right.
They don't look at the
Nothing
whole
wrong with that as long
picture.
as you see the whole picture.
But if you see the whole picture, Charlie, I still make the argument that let's say you did a Swift, pretty low payment weekly, a little bit better if you do like a Seabright for the insurance,
Right.
right? If you have a plan to pay that truck off,
Setting aside $400 a week,
yep,
something like that. I mean, I don't know what the number is off the top of my head because I'm not doing that anymore because I don't want to own any more trucks.
right, yeah, you're at the tail end of a career, and we've talked about that before on shows, and we'll probably revisit that again soon. Projected net. So I have a love-hate relationship with projected numbers, Charlie,
Right.
because projected numbers are not reality. Just look at the stock market. When companies do their quarterly earnings calls, and if you own a stock, you can join the conference call and hear directly from the CEO and the CFO and everybody during their earnings call. And they always have these projected numbers.
Right.
And they never hit them, Charlie.
That one way or the other, they're wrong.
Usually they project high. And so when the earnings for the quarter actually come out, the freaking Wall Street goes nuts and dumps the stock because they didn't make their projections. So projected numbers mean very little. It's dreaming. That's what that is.
Right.
I prefer to live like I say, the way I do my numbers in business is I pay attention to the weekly net, the monthly net, the quarterly net, and the yearly net. Real numbers.
Right.
And the place I got to was I was able to look at PA profit and loss statements over the 20 years. And I can say, okay, this year is an outlier. I did really well that year.
Right.
What did I do different?
COVID.
Or that year was 2008 and it sucked. And we all know what that was about.
Yeah.
Lessons learned.
Obama. What?
Yeah. Fleet size is another one. Guys, I can buy 10 trucks for
size doesn't matter, Jeff.
I know. It's how you use them. One number rarely tells the whole story. You got to look at the whole picture, folks. The whole picture. I know it's the boring part of business,
right?
But you got to do it because then you can get to the exciting part of business.
See, I'm going to disagree a little bit because I think that numbers thing is exciting, but I'm a numbers guy, right? I want to see the minor increase. I've said it before for the last 5 years, I've been saying it, a quarter penny turns to a penny turns to a nickel turns to a dime, dimes turn into dollars. And people are like, what the hell do you care about a quarter penny increase? And I'm like, because what I just said.
Yeah.
If I find enough of those, I'm gold.
Yeah, I think people like you, Charlie, and I'm the same way, have an advantage as entrepreneurs. If you can get excited over a tenth of a penny increase somewhere,
right?
Seriously, that'll get you through some pretty rough times.
Oh, absolutely.
So after our discussion, Charlie, if someone were able to answer all the questions that we asked, how serious would you be about buying these 3 trucks? Assuming that you got the answers that you wanted.
Right. I think it's not a horrible deal. With all things being what we believe them to be to meet our criteria, our needs, our goals, it could be a very good deal. Your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, assuming I had access to the capital, that's something we
Right.
didn't really discuss a whole lot.
Right.
There
We're
is
just
that,
assuming that they got it.
right? I mean, full disclosure, the reason why Charlie and I did not jump on that opportunity in Minnesota, that was an expensive operation to buy. And by the time we got to the point to where we were starting to ask people for capital, a freaking bank bought it. A bank bought that operation.
Yeah, because it was so good. His bank bought it. They're like, wait, you're selling this? You're selling this cash producer? It prints money in gold and rainbows.
Yep.
It never even made it out to the real world to get put out. I mean, it was feelers were out there because it was coming.
And the only reason, let's be real, Charlie, the only reason we knew about it was because of the relationships that we have around with different people.
Right.
And that's something that as Charlie and I have studied more wealthy entrepreneurs, it really isn't what you know, it's who you know.
Yep.
So build those relationships, folks. If you really want to go all in and build a fleet, you want to get out of the truck, you want to do something else, whatever. Build relationships that will help you get there.
We even kind of had a partner that was willing to kind of handle part of the back end financing on this.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I mean, we could have been locked into this thing had the bank not taken it for themselves because they saw the damn jackpot.
Yep.
Oh, I got a cramp in the top of my foot. We're going to do the commercial. I'll be right back. How's that, Jeff?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see you guys back in 2 minutes. And yeah, I don't know, something.
Paying too much for trucking insurance?
Now here's a question that all owner-operators and small fleet owners should consider. What happens when you access the unrivaled advantages that are available through the ES Advantage program? We asked Jeff and Charlie from Contractors Corner to share their thoughts on how they've been able to utilize the discounts and services that are a part of the ES Advantage.
So we started looking for a way to save money on fuel. And we were turned on to the ES Advantage program for fuel first. So we got a hold of Jeff Reese, and he ran us through that program. And man, we were starting to save. And then we started talking to them. Well, we saw their website, and we said, Jeff, what's this thing about insurance and accounting and
Right.
You lease trucks? What?
Right, and that's the thing, is we only knew it as a fuel card. And when we started digging deeper, I mean, we ended up getting hooked up with an insurance provider, Seabright Agency, and they created an entire insurance program just for us and our people. And from that, we've learned that, now there's even more potential. There's a greater opportunity, and it's completely opened up our eyes and broadened our vision into what it is we're trying to do, which is help people do better. Wrapped with the ES community just makes that process so much easier.
Now, if you're an owner-operator or small fleet owner and you would like to learn more about how you can drive savings to the bottom line of your business, the ES Advantage program has the discounts and services that deliver the kind of unrivaled advantages that are designed to help you improve your overall operation. Get connected with the ES Advantage today.
You wouldn't walk around exposed, so why leave your business exposed? Weak coverage and slow claims are a real risk. Seabright Agency has your back with better prices. Call today.
And for real, just saying, call today. Okay, it might be late enough now that you need to call tomorrow. It's after 6 o'clock there. But whatever, you can call them 800-366-6466. Just saying. Wonderful people at Seabright to get you hooked up. Still got a cramp in the top of my foot, right at the crease of where my ankle and my foot go. Oh my gosh. Don't like it. Can't figure out how to get rid of it. Doesn't matter what direction I flex it, Jeff. I flex it one way, my toes go like this.
Yep.
I flip it the other way, my toe goes like that. And this one is really bad when it's going up like that.
Yep.
I'm just saying, I just got to keep it flat right now.
Eat a banana, man.
Dude, I've been killing them. Oh, and now I got one in my other foot too. In my big toe. Oh my God.
Ebone says hit it with a hammer.
That's probably not a bad. I already stomped on it. I thought that might help. It did not. I have actually fixed cramps in my toes before by stomping on it with the other foot. Oh God. Or stomping that foot. I don't know what the hell's happening right now. Like just all one was bad while I was standing. Now the other one's bad because I'm sitting. I don't understand what's happening. I don't like it. Ugh.
So Charlie, you had some Swift news.
Well, not necessarily news, but there was something to discuss. They did a live this past week. I think it was Thursday or something.
Mhm.
And one of the things I had written into Brett about was this Tanu issue. I mean, we brought it up 2 weeks ago. I had that discussion with Sage about it and Jenny. Touched a little bit on it again last week before they're live, right? Because I mean, it's a legitimate thing. We've got a lot of guys that are getting absolutely nothing. We've got some guys that are getting empty miles paid. We get some guys that they're giving you $50. You know what I mean? And one of the things that I said in a message to Brett directly was, look, you guys need to seriously come up with a legitimate Tanu program. And in their live this week, they actually addressed it, Jeff. They said, it's been brought to our attention, and you know what? It's not wrong. We don't have anything specific in our contract that addresses that problem. That needs to change. They admitted that needs to change and said that they are working on that problem. And I am hoping that they will follow what the industry average does. I did a little research on that. Well, I don't know if research is the right word. I did a bit of reading from a lot of different sources, right? To try and find some sort of average Tanu rate in a dry van operation type deal. Okay. And it seems to be somewhere between 150 and 350. So the average would fall into that 250 range, right? Ish. Some people who are on the carrier side say, well, I'll pay my drivers or the contractor, I'll give them the whole thing, right? Other guys are like, I'll take 10%. And if I have to, I'll mark it up 10%. So that he's not cutting into, an average Tanu rate for the driver. Yeah, Craig, like you said, 250, pretty average from your percentage board days. And this has been a long running average for years. And most brokers. Oh God, that's Jenny. What's she yelling at me about now?
She wanting the show or something?
Yep. She wants the link, yo.
Hold on.
Figures we start talking about Tanu and she's like, let me in or I'll blow your house down. Mean Jenny, she's gonna yell at us or something. But yeah, so 250, while you put that in there, 250 seems to be a fairly I'll pin it.
There you go, Jenny.
Let's pin the message. If you pin it in YouTube, you have to have the YouTube screen to be able to go to the three dots.
Oh,
right, Jeff.
Okay.
And it'll pin it to the top of the YouTube comments. So it's always available. Well, in this case, it pins it to the bottom, but it's always available. It's always visible for the rest of the chat. Anyhow, we can't. Well, they said we were supposed to be able to do it in
StreamYard, I thought.
No, and I don't see the option. Anyhow, so 250 seems to be a fair rate. 200, I wouldn't mind 200. Again, with a caveat, if you had to drive 200 miles, is that fair? I don't know. I think that's something that needs to be addressed. I think it's something.
Well, so let me play with this intellectually for a second, Charlie. If they came up with, say, $250 for a tonneau, right? You decided to go 300 miles deadhead to get that load. Isn't that kind of on you? If it's actually in the contract that this is what we pay.
Right. But just to be clear, none of that is in the contract right now.
Right.
So you could drive 200 miles thinking, okay, great. I'm going to accept that rate and the 200-mile deadhead because the rate for the overall run is good, right? But then you get there, the load's canceled, you get nothing, potentially.
Right.
That's a problem. Now, if it's contracted, okay, you know, maybe there's a limit on it. That's fine because you accepted beyond the limit. But again, I believe it needs to be contractual. Jenny, the link's in the chat. I hope that works. I can't text stuff. I can barely read my text messages. Tanu, truck ordered, not used, Tim. I was just going to type that up too. And then Jeff screwed me up. Let me do that. TONU equals truck ordered, not used or utilized. I'm going to use used because I'm simple that way. So, you know, when you get there, Tim, and they say, oh, the load is canceled and just go to the next one, which could be, you know, 50, 100 miles down the road, whatever, not our problem, bro. That's not okay. They have kind of addressed that. They're like, yeah, it's not in our contract. We need to fix that. My understanding is from that live is it sounds like that's something that they're going to try and get done this year.
Nice.
To address the problem, along with a lot of other things that they're working on, some fixes, some tweaks to the load board that people were asking for, sorting by dates again. Remember, we were actually able to do that at one point, Jeff. In the early board, we could sort by date, specific city, and sort all these things. And then when this iteration came out, the only thing you can do is search by city within a range, origin or destination, or search by state, origin or destination. And, you know, a range around that. But that's the only search options you have. Which, okay, whatever. I don't know why that was so hard, but okay. So they're going to address that. That's cool. Yeah, I wish it was more clear and not quite so speculative and optimistic, but a huge company like this is always speculative and optimistic.
Right.
It's in their best interest to be that way. That's corporate business. Big, giant, huge, mega corporate business, right? It's always going to be rosy until it's not. Hey now. And then maybe you get a Jenny. What? I'm sorry. That was wrong. I love you, Jenny.
She's still not here. We put the link up. I don't know
what the hell. I don't know what her problem is. I'm going to text her. Link in chat. I should have said it in bio just for fun. Because everybody loves that. Oh, now she got it. She said, "You're in such a hurry, woman. I don't see you on the screen yet. I don't know what the hell's going on." By the way, Snow White, if you're out there, I love you. Hi, Ida. I love you too, sister. Just saying. Jenny, could y'all fire Rabbit? I'll come to work. What?
Okay.
What's wrong with Fly Rabbit? I don't know. I don't watch his channel. Like, I know who it is. I've talked to him. Talked to some of his guys. Whatever. I honestly, I don't watch the channel. Last time I got in there, I kind of called them all out. Well, I called him out for busting sideways out of his face when he thought I wasn't watching, but whatever. And he's like, no, that never happened. It's fine. Anyhow, yeah.
Huh.
I'll forgive. I ain't forgetting. Just saying. Pull off the load board data and run it through Grok. So I think you would have to be very specific if you were going to do something like that, because the wording in the contract at Swift is very deliberate, specific, yet vague. Right? Again, more corporate normal thing. They say that they intend to pay 70% of the market lane rate, but they don't tell you where they're getting that market lane rate. And that if gotta sneeze. Excuse me. That if they're going to pay you less than 70%, that they would annotate that on the load acceptance stuff, right? On the book now button. Allegedly, according to them, there are times when they have paid more than 70%, and that's not notated on it, and nobody cares to hear about that either. I don't know how to prove that or disprove it, simply because I don't know what market rate they're using.
Yeah, my guess, you and I talked about this while they were developing the plan. Even if we found out, let's say we found out that it was data. So in order to keep them honest, you would have to pay that $250 a month for that data.
Right. You know, how many guys are willing to do that? I honestly, personally don't know a ton. I think you and I know more than the average person in the amount of people who would do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're in that crazy entrepreneur thing, and we're like, oh, it's a cost of business.
Mm-hmm.
It's not someone stealing money from you, like a lot of people like to say about everything they have to pay for. Oh, they're stealing money. They're still no, whatever. That service costs money. It takes time and effort and money for them to compile that data, etc. Okay, whatever. Electricity for the AIs that do it for them in the background these days, right?
Yeah.
That power ain't cheap, especially if it's in Florida. Good God. Just saying, $863 power bill this month.
Holy crap, you need solar.
Dude. Insulation might help. Just, insulation.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I have a brick house, so I'm good on that.
Right. Hey, Quick, good to see you. Can you get home every week living in Virginia on I-81? I think you probably could, to be honest.
That's actually a pretty good lane, I think.
Yeah. There's a ton of freight that it's paying great. But I don't want to go to Virginia. It's one of the states I'm not a fan of. Just can't help it. They are not a gun-friendly state.
Yeah.
And they're diving down the rabbit hole in the worst way possible for the second.
Yeah, I follow one of their state legislatures, and he's always on that.
Oh my God. So there you go, Tim. I live in Virginia, about 50 miles east of 81. He says, I suppose you can. I see a ton of freight on the load board going into Virginia, even from Florida, oddly enough.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of the lanes I don't want to run. Well, it's a destination I don't want to end up in.
Right.
And I don't. Full disclosure, I don't deep dive into it. I see a load from Florida to Virginia every now and then. I go, oh, well, what the hell's coming out of Virginia? Usually when I look, that's not great. But that's not to say that it's not, because I'm just talking about, the individual very few times I've actually bothered to look.
Well, so there's been an issue with New England
gotta
for
close
a
my
while
door.
now, Charlie, where even so it's been a couple years since I ran under Swift, but they were willing to pay me more than my 85 cents a
Right.
mile to go from like Pennsylvania to Ohio where there's freight to relocate. I don't know if that's still a thing. That was a thing at Panther as well. Like I would not take anything northeast of New York, any of those states, because I was going to have to deadhead out
Right.
as far as like maybe Columbus from Maine
Yep.
to get freight.
You know, if
Oh,
you
they
were
were.
a head haul
By the way,
guy,
they were.
just call Sage. Oh,
By the way, they were willing to pay me very well to go to Maine,
right.
but then like I did it twice
Yeah.
and had to deadhead out both times, which killed the above rate that they paid me
Right.
to go up there.
Another thing that they addressed on that live at, my carrier Swift, trailer hunt miles, Jeff. I don't know if he should have said anything or not, but Brett said something. Hey, if you got to run 60 miles to go find a trailer and you don't know if there's one there or not, you should be compensated for that. Bro, I don't know. I don't think you should have said those words.
You need to download that video
Okay?
for future evidence.
Okay. Because I was like, wait, what did he say?
That would be worth 1 month of the $15 YouTube Pro so you can download stuff.
Good Lord, man. I'll screen capture it, whatever. But yeah, I mean, there was a couple things. It was, again, I'm still a little sour because of some of the things in the load board that they aren't.
Right.
That absolutely should be by this point in time. Right? I'm not silly enough. I'm aware enough that I don't know where they're getting the market rate from. Allegedly they're using a 7-day roll. Pretty sure that's what has been said. Allegedly.
It's a 7 week, there's a 7 day, not a 3 week.
7-day roll.
So that's going to react to the markets pretty quick, theoretically.
But I don't see it.
Hmm.
I'm not seeing that reflection because if that's the case, we should have seen a bump the last 3 weeks straight, right? Or at least the last 2 weeks to match the bump in fuel over the last 3.
Right.
But I don't know that that's necessarily happening. I mean, yes, rates are coming up, but I don't believe it's reflective of actuality.
Well, so in the actual spot market, because I still do pay attention, Charlie, and I pay attention to what operators are saying, and they're saying that the spot market rates are not reflecting fuel prices either.
Right.
They're kind of getting butthurt about that.
Yeah. Oh,
Which
it was
is
Craig
a
that
good
brought
reason.
trailer miles up in that live.
Go, Craig.
Good job, man. Yeah, I look, his answer was baffling to me. It was absolutely baffling to me because it was not an answer I was expecting them to say, because they've done really well about saying, it's not my problem.
Mm-hmm.
You're a contractor, right? And they were warm and fuzzy on it, which threw me off. Like I don't even know what they said afterwards because my brain was just stuck on that wheel for a while. Me and that squirrel were going at it, yo. Jenny. Look, she's Jenny in the block. There you is.
I was looking over the edge of the fence.
Oh.
Forget Kilroy. We got Kill Jenny.
Right. Kill Jen. Oh. Oh, how you doing, Jenny?
Good. What's going on?
Same. Just trying to talk some business stuff, trying to make sense out of.
Are there any people that watch you that are not Swifties?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to do it. Should I ask you my question?
Most of the people live seem to be Swift people or Swift adjacent, even. Right?
Uh-huh.
In the replays, that spreads out quite a bit from what I understand from looking at analytics stuff. So I don't know.
By the way, Jenny, your segment on the dude that did 28 hours and 24 hours on his logbook, 85,000 views so far.
Nice.
And what it is guys, if you look at the comments on that one, it's people arguing over whether people are real truck drivers or not.
Right.
It's the old argument of you must not drive a truck because everybody knows that you can't make money unless you just cheat on those logs.
Right.
And then other guys are coming back with, well, you'll lose your CDL for that. And it's just going back and forth, back and forth.
Look, I understand, but if you're going to, okay, let me take off the safety and compliance hat. I'm going to put it on the shelf over here, okay? And I'm going to
put on a hat while you're doing it.
I'm going to sit in the trucking seat from outlaw driver perspective, okay?
Right.
So if this is different, whole different Jenny. If you're going to unplug your ELD, you need to understand how the ELD works. You need to do it correctly so that it doesn't know that you have a disconnect. The fuse just can't follow the box anywhere. Okay, so I'm just saying, if you don't know how to do it, don't do it because you're going to mess it up, and it's going to be noted in your logs. It's going to say
worse. See, I believe that there's still not a good way to do it.
There's not a good way to do it, but here
because of the ECM.
There's a good way to do it. I'll tell you the good way to do it. If you're going to do it, you have to be crafty, and wherever you make it happen at, wherever you make the magic happen at, you have to arrive back at that spot and undo the magic.
Okay.
Yeah, because then it looks like you didn't move.
Right.
For 3 days. Just don't get caught those 3 days while you're moving.
Just remember that the ECM tracks every movement of the tires.
But when you get pulled over for an inspection, they're not in the ECM part of it, doing an inspection.
But when you connect the ELD back to it, if the ELD is working properly, it will flash from the ECM and update the ELD and say, oh, by the way,
you're still sitting in the same spot.
But while you were disconnected, you ran 300 miles.
I understand that. As long as you're not looking at that one log audit page, you're okay.
Good job, Jeff. The opinions of the guests on Trucking Talks Live are those of the guests and do not reflect the opinions of Jeff, Charlie, or Contractors Corner Consulting Group, LLC.
and I'm not, I'm not saying that is a right thing to do.
I know.
I'm not condoning doing that. I'm just saying, if you choose to do this and violate your logs, know that it's more obvious some ways than others, and if you don't know how to do it the lesser of the obvious ways, and then you can't run clean for a few days to get that stuff out for your 7-day look back, you better just not do it. And if you already have a safety score problem and you're already having issues with your safety score, then it's probably best if you don't mess with it anyways, because when you get caught, you're going to get put out of service, and it's really going to shoot your safety scores up.
And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, just don't do it. Stop.
Right. And there's reasons why those rules are there. They're there to protect you and the motoring public.
Yeah, Jenny, the point I've made for years and years and years, because, the ELD mandate passed it went into force in 2012, I think it was. So we've got over a decade of this. My beef is not with the ELDs, Charlie.
No.
It's with the hours of service regulations themselves.
Right. I know when I'm tired. We've talked about this. You know when you're tired. But there are people out there that have ruined it for everybody else because they don't know when they're tired.
They do have that pilot program running right now, though.
Yeah.
To where people can actually stop the 14 anytime during the day to stop and just take a nap.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that, and it's not like the same as the split deal. It's literally stopping and pausing your 14. Right then, right there for that time period.
I mean, it might work out better for you to stop now while there's traffic backed up for 2 hours and take a nap somewhere and get back on the road in the middle of the night when there's no traffic and motor on down the road. But if
It's
it
gonna
messes up before
require
7
us to
o'clock,
do the right thing though and actually get some rest. Just saying.
Well, I mean, that's what I said. If you're able, some people can't just lay down and go, I'm asleep. Some people can.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. I learned really early in my career, there are days when I could literally just drive for 20 hours.
Oh, for real.
And then there are days where I drive for an hour and I need a nap.
Right.
Okay. and nap for an hour, drive for an hour, and I'm like, damn, I'm still tired.
Mm-hmm.
And I've made that call. I've also done the thing that we all have done and just kept going and thought at the end of that, damn, that was stupid. How did I make it here?
Man, I've done that in my passenger car.
Okay.
Whoa.
Again,
I was so tired. I went to
endorsing
get off.
bad
I went to get off at a
behavior.
rest area at my personal car. I was so tired. I was like, "Oh, there's a rest area here." I went to get off there, and as I'm getting off on the ramp, I'm falling asleep, and I find myself sitting in the hatch, like, and I was like, "Okay, this is not good. You need to get over there and go sleep."
Right? Yeah. No, but that's the thing. But I think it's because of part of the mentality that we've been in for so long that I think that there could be an adjustment period for this new rule or the implementation of the rule, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we've been so focused and brain dipped to this certain way that, well, if we can't move, we can't make money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we're not budging the law, we ain't making enough money. I think that there's a pretty good potential once we get it working properly and people actually get their brain wrapped around how it's supposed to be used properly and start using it properly and not trying to abuse it, because they're going to try to abuse it. I don't care. They're going to try.
Right.
And
Well,
if too many abuse it, we're screwed.
To bring it back to what we do, Charlie, I think Tim is spot on here. He says it's not worth the risk.
Right.
And I think as business owners, that needs to be part of your calculus anytime this discussion comes up. Is it worth the risk?
Right.
Now, not everybody's going to agree with me and Charlie.
Right.
We're pretty by the book.
Yeah, I'm totally a rules
in our
follower. Like I
operation.
said, I'm not
But
condoning that.
I realize that not everybody shares that opinion, and you've got to assess that risk for yourself.
Right.
At the time, it might seem like a good idea, but like I said earlier on a different show, do you want to be the one that has to call either your driver's family to say your driver didn't make it home, or call, or do you want to be there when the police have to tell somebody else's family that the reason somebody's not alive is because of you? I couldn't live with that. I don't want to be that person.
Now, I made that decision long ago that I cannot be responsible because of my stupidity.
Right.
If
something happens where somebody loses a life or is hurt critically in an accident,
right?
But I will have done everything under my power. I will have prayed, Jesus take the wheel. Whatever it takes, I would have done whatever I could have done to keep it from happening.
Right.
In the moment.
Look, the one night that I lost that 100 miles in Texas because I was still driving overnights, I was physically ill when I realized what had happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like my stomach knotted up. I could have killed me. I could have killed Rosie, who was sleeping safely in the back. And who knows who else I could have killed. And that next day I told her, I'm like, babe, I can't do it anymore. If we have to just drive days, then we're just going to drive days. Tom, you ain't wrong. If FMCSA gave us 24 hours a day, drivers would want 25. You are not wrong, sir. We are broken people.
I mean, I almost had a driver that did 25 in one day.
We are going to push the limit every single time we think we can or think we can get away with it.
Right.
I think that's an industry.
But why do we push so hard? Because brokers or companies book us loads with impossible delivery times, because something happens on the road beyond our control,
right?
And we don't want to disappoint or let down our clients or our carrier. I mean, we want to service our customers, and we want to get there, and we're trying to stop it, or there's a reason out there. Oh, Jesus, I gotta go.
Good. Get out of here.
Jenny.
Ain't nobody wants you in here
Hi,
anyways.
Snarky.
You're in here telling
Hi,
people.
Jenny.
You're telling people how to get hurt out here. Thanks for
I
being
know,
a
Jenny.
true fan.
I didn't tell him how. I said if you're going
I'm
to do that,
safety. Listen to me. I'm safety.
Right.
I'm a mechanic. Listen to me. Hey, how are the drug
Oh,
tests
yeah?
going?
Oh,
Jenny,
whoa!
you didn't come
Whoa,
on, Jenny, to
shots
talk about
fired.
our
Shots fired
viral
all
video
over.
segment. You wanted to come on for something though.
Well, yeah, Jenny, was there something specific you want to get into, or were you just
No, I just
okay?
you guys
I just
were
want to
on.
make
No,
sure.
she's just trolling. She's just trolling. That's what she's doing. She's trying to ruin the
I'm
show. Great
I'm
job,
trying to
Jenny.
find out
Here
where
to
the best
promote his
company to go
AOL
to.
dial-up.
I'm trying to find out. Yeah, right. At least I got service.
Domo and Origato, Narc.
Put your tin can.
Oh, stop!
Put your
I'm
tin
back.
can
You
out-
didn't, don't
tin
you
can out the
even
window.
start with me.
But anyway, but I'm looking for the
Listen,
best company for
I'm
team
prepping for a real show.
So be quiet while I finish. I'm looking for the best company for team driving, but I have one driver that's experienced and one that hasn't driven in 15 years.
So what Jenny
Who are
said
you
there,
asking that?
To anybody. That's why I was asking. I see before you
and
came
I'll-
on, see if you'd have been here on time. You didn't know. I asked if everybody was listening on. So Swift is not. But I had some questions.
so what Jenny's asking, and if you're not a Swift dude, gal, whatever,
So I already get enough bias from Charlie. So
she's
go ahead.
kind of gotten the answer about the Swift side already, because she consulted a very smart individual that is so trustworthy that I mean she just knows that those words are great, but she would like some additional opportunities.
So do they want to be owner operators? Do they want to be company drivers? What do they want to do?
It's always a good question. Company driving would be fine.
Yeah, and it depends because going into contracting in a company you never driven before, I believe it's always best to go in as a company guy to figure it out anyhow.
Well, the reason I ask, Jenny, is because if they want to be contractors, I would encourage them to go and look at ES and try to get on at Panther. Assuming a couple things. Can they get hazmat and can they get DOT? Because if they have hazmat and DOT, Panther's got some pretty good team freight that is military base to military base.
There is one problem that I think you didn't hear though, Jeff.
What?
And I think that this plays into it is one of the drivers does not have recent verifiable over the road experience. One is within 6 months, if I recall, and the other is
15 years.
15 years gap.
Okay, so maybe go get a year and then look at better opportunities.
But that person still works in the industry very closely.
But no working verifiable.
Look, I can still back circles around some of these people out there, right? I don't give a
Just
damn.
saying though, it don't matter, that's just because.
But some people just have it. There are some people out there that just can drive, and there are other people out there that, man, all the teaching in the world doesn't really get it much farther than the steering wheel holder.
Right. So Tom wants to know, where do the drivers Jenny's talking about live?
Mississippi.
Mississippi. That's a tough market too, though, isn't it?
And look, I'll be honest. So I'm talking about Tracy and myself. We're looking at maybe after the first of the year, getting out there. I do my collections from the road when I'm not driving, and just getting out, seeing the.
It's become the empty nest thing. The kids are grown, and I'm gonna share. Sorry, Jenny, you can tell me. They get along better when they're in the truck.
We do.
Well, what about in a bus? Do you get along good in a bus like a Greyhound? Maybe you guys just riding a Greyhound, together around the country.
You don't make money riding a Greyhound.
I mean, you could. It just depends on what you do when you're in that Greyhound. Just saying.
Okay.
OnlyFans.
But I mean, bus stops have a reputation.
Just saying. Oh my God. But yeah, so I mean, that's a tough OTR market, I think, to live in. One of the things I recommended, because at first, Jenny will tell you, I said, to hell with Swift. But then I heard the rest of the story, and it's just because my brain just, because Jenny's been in the industry so long, she knows everything and she could do everything legally, right? But 15, 16-year gap since doing those things.
Right.
The industry says, no, you can't. You're a trainee. You're brand new.
Well, so the question is, let's play the Swift advocacy game. Could the one with more recent experience get on at Swift and then mentor his future teammates?
Yes.
And then they do their year, so they get their solid experience, and then they look at better opportunities.
Right. And that was one of the things that I believe I mentioned. I don't know.
Because I know that Swift will do that whole husband-wife mentorship thing.
Right.
Where I know
have to train him how to do it right. I mean, where he's going to.
Right.
I've known a few guys that what they do is they went through school a few weeks ahead of their spouse, went out with their mentor, and these are brand new drivers, Jenny.
Yeah.
No experience at all, got the mentorship ticket specifically to train their wife, and then
could only train that one person.
Right.
Yeah, I suggested. I said, well, how about if I go with some of my my friends on their heavy hauls and learn how to do heavy haul? I'll come back and train you. He didn't think that was a great idea, really. So
right. He's like, wait, you're gonna get on someone else's truck? And, what?
I said, you wouldn't have to worry about training me or anything. He's like, I don't think that's a good idea.
Right. Yeah. Hey, it's fair. I'm just saying.
I mean, I was just trying to take a little bit of that pressure off of him,
I offered when Rosie went, I'm like, I can train you. I will absolutely train you. I am down. I'm not good at teaching Rosie things because I believe she learns things through osmosis from me. If I know it, she should know it. That's what my brain says. It's broken. I get it.
We were just talking about that yesterday.
Yeah, right. But Jeff, you remember we had that guy Jan, and not Jan. There was the other one that I can't remember his name. Super nice, absolutely top shelf mentor Dana had. I cannot remember his name. Jan was a good one, but there was another one who was, just the most. He was an amazing trainer. He was the mentor I aspired to be like. He was that good. He was all about training. Don't piss him off. He'll fix you. He could go either way on that very quickly, but man, was he a good trainer. And the guy, I saw him take some of the ones, even I was known for taking the trouble children. But he could take some of the ones that I'm even like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And he'd fix them. It was amazing. So, there was that offer. I was okay.
It's really annoying when somebody leaves their mic on and they slamming around and moving paperwork. And
shut the.
I haven't cussed this week. I'm just going to throw it out there. 1 hour and 49 minutes, and I have not cussed, which is, I promise you, is amazing, Jeff.
Yep. We actually had a plan, Jenny, because Charlie's brain is broken this week.
Worse than normal.
Just this week?
Yeah. So Rosie actually warned me that his filter is damaged this week. And so we had a plan. I've had my button on the put Charlie in timeout button for the whole show.
Yeah. It is very easy for me.
Why is your brain broken this week?
I'm not getting into it.
Okay.
I would be trying to talk to you about it. You and I.
Gotcha. No, I didn't know you're just one of those. It's just that time of the year. Like I have my broken.
That time of the month. What are you saying? What?
Yeah, well, that's kind of.
I am known to be a bit menstrual in my thinking sometimes. What?
What, you sing songs?
Yes. Definitely.
God, you guys.
God, where are we going now?
We really went sideways somewhere here.
Oh, hey, Narc. How the hell are you, buddy?
Hello. Well, I'm good. I'm not allowed to say anything right now. Jenny said I can't. I'm making too much noise, so I'm just hanging out.
I said you could say something. I said you can't rattle paperwork and stuff.
Look.
It's your show. Good.
Look.
Good.
Jenny fixed, bro.
Jenny, you heard that? It's their show, not your show.
She can hear me. Respond, bro. I took her off the stage.
Oh, bye, Jenny. See you later. Maybe you'll learn one day. Probably not. Oh, there she is.
You too.
Damn it. Well, I just came in to rustle people's feathers. That's it.
Look, we're in the last couple minutes. It's the okay time, I believe, Jeff. I think
I figured.
I will defer to Jeff. Is it okay time to ruffle some feathers?
Sure.
Because Trucker Todd has a new job.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna be honest here. I'm not putting anything new out there that people that pay attention to anything in my world don't know is Trucker Todd somehow weasels his way into like trucking. I don't know how, but I like Jeffrey Lake and I like Snorlord. So we're just gonna act like Trucker Todd is probably the best trucker that's ever been invented, and we're gonna let it roll for a little while
and see how it plays out.
And see how it plays out. And as soon as Trucker Todd fucks up,
there it is.
Screws up. Yep. Then we're just gonna go ham.
Whoop, there it is. It only took dark.
Roll hand.
But what you all really want to hear is Jason Pote updates. And I'll tell you two funny stories.
Here we go.
First funny story is I think about, let's see, what was it? About today is the 25th.
Yes.
So on the 10th, and I feel like I know it's been a couple weeks. So on the 10th, Jason was supposed to start at Hurricane Express, back at Hurricane, which was a Monday. I think I probably told you all this, but he backed out of that because he found a deal that was too good to pass up with the Russians.
Right.
He became a 1099. He became a 1099 contractor. I'm sorry, a 1099 company driver as a contractor, right? For this Russian company, pulling for 30%, driving a 2026 truck, Freightliner, with 82,000 miles on it. I think that was what he said. So sounds like the truck may have went through a couple hands before him, but hey, that's neither here nor there, right? That's par for the course for him. And he told us how he was never, ever, ever going to promote a company on here again because that's just foolish, right? He's just going to truck and tell us about trucking. And he's also going to stay at this company for 4 to 5 months as a company guy, stack his money, and then go lease, because they offer lease purchase also, obviously, because they're Russians. Then he was going to go lease. That way he knew the ins and outs. And literally within 18 hours of that post, he let us know that he is not a company guy. He is too good to be company. He is a trucking coach out here on highways and byways. He's out here to teach people how to run companies and own trucks. And he is going to be leasing the truck that he is in, the 2026, for 900. I forget. I'm going to say it was 975. 940. Yeah, it was a little bit above Hurricane because nothing's as cheap as Hurricane Express, of course. But it was just under 1,000. And as of yesterday, he signed his contract and he is now leasing. The fun fact is there was 2 weeks that he was a company driver for this company. In his first week, he made, according to him, he brought home 24.5, which is, I mean, whatever. Last week, he had not such a good week. He would not tell us a number, but he said he was only able to drive for 3 days because his new truck that he now is leasing was broke down for 4 of the 3 days.
Oh, God.
So my guess is that he made 1 week, he made 2,400, and this last week, he'd probably lucky if he made $1,000 would be my guess. Half that. So if you do the math right, that probably averages out that he brought home between 1,700 and 1,900 to his pocket for the 2 weeks. Now, remember, he's a 1099 contractor, so he has taxes to take off of that. Right. He also has told us that part of the deal that he signed, and this is his words, right? So, I mean, it's in his post, is that he had to buy some kind of life insurance policy. I don't understand this, but he's a trucking coach, so he knows better than us. He had to buy a life insurance policy through this company to drive for them as a 1099. I guess that's in case he was to, go poof on the road. They had some way to recoup their money while he was a company driver, or recoup their truck, maybe. I guess I don't know. That was $150 or something, $155 a week. So you take out the taxes and you take out the $150 per week. As a 27-year trucking vet and trucking coach, he probably, with the Russians, brought home about $1,200 on average, right, for those 2 weeks. Which, I mean, whatever, right? Like, I mean, I don't know, to each his own. Yeah, I know. He's leasing the truck now. Today is day 2. Truck, right? There's not a whole lot of updates other than that. I would assume he's going to fail pretty hard at it, but we'll never know. Well, I don't know. I mean, we will know. He's going to let us know, I think. I'm going to go live in a little bit. There's not a lot of updates with him, but I have a lot of other rando stuff. People that have been around, I have a local guy update for anybody that's in the Zellos. They know what's going on. Local guy, this weirdo dude has abandoned a truck on the highway because it ran out of fuel. Right. Joined a all-white commune in Georgia to hide from the company that he abandoned the truck from, because they're actively looking for him out of Florida. And there's a few other things. I'm trying to think. There's a few other things going on in the trucking world that we'll probably go over, right? But that's fantastic. It. Yeah. I haven't. Jason hasn't been doing much on at all, so there's not a whole lot of updates with him, unfortunately. I mean, he's been in limbo land, right, making all these moves. So he's just been in. I'm not sure though. For anybody that cares, is from my understanding, from calling and pestering Hurricane Express, is the late Melissa, which is his. Yeah, Melissa, which is his recruiter. She's a really nice lady. And she basically told me that's all a recorded phone call, and I told her I was recording a phone call. That Jason will tell you on Facebook that Caden and them had came to an agreement, and then Jason wanted to change the agreement, and they wouldn't do it. She told me on the phone that there was never a full-on agreement. There was a, hey, yeah, you're welcome to come back here, but you're going to pay us the $5,500 you owe us, and you're going to pay it to us fast. Right. And what I think happened is Jason didn't hear that part at the beginning. Right. He just heard, oh, good, I can come back and be a hurricane guy again. Right. And get my views and my numbers up. Yeah. Get my views and my numbers up on Facebook. And then as it got closer and he started actually asking questions, they started telling him, like, hey, by the way, you realize that we're going to take 30% of your bring home per week, right, until you pay us back. Good. Right. And then I think he started hearing that. Like I think that, because I mean, and now that he's not there, my assumption is that they're going to actively go after him for the money. Right. Jeff, whatever way that will be.
What?
I need your comments on this. Your head looks like it's about to pop.
Well, what did he think was going to happen? Everybody knows, Narc, that I owe Swift money. Right. My last lease and all the maintenance on the truck that ended up having the transmission go out. Right. And it's understood. I already know. Because our relationship with Swift, I've talked to Brett Stewart and those people about it. Someday I'll pay them. If I ever go back to Swift, they will take that money out of my settlement a little at a time until it's paid.
They forgive like me, but they don't forget.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know what he thought was going to happen.
I think, and this is shot at him, right? But this is the truth. I personally fully believe this. I hope a lot of other people do too. I really believe that he is like so out like in limbo land, that he does not remember nor believe, right, that when he leaves these places, that he leaves them on a bad note, or believes or
Well,
he left
thinks he's
owing
the
money.
be-all, end-all.
Yeah.
So even if he left with any animosities,
Leaves that,
everybody
right? Like
wants him so badly, they want him back that they'll forgive anything.
Yep.
Right. Because of his massive YouTube channel.
He has the ability to recruit people.
So to give you guys an idea, you know, what was it, like 6 months ago, I considered going back to Swift specifically to try the new contract. Right. And I talked to our favorite recruiter.
Right.
I talked to Brett, and it was no nonsense. They weren't mad at me, but they made it known. No mistake. You owe us money.
Right.
And this is how we're going to handle that.
And we're going to get it.
And we're going to get it.
Right.
And that they would love to have me back, but we got to discuss some things.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, look, a lot of people are like,
I will point out as well to the audience too, lest I get lumped into this Todd and Coach stuff. I did not wait for them to tell me that I owed the money.
Right.
I opened the negotiation with that.
Right.
I said, look, I owe you this. And
as a man's man would do.
And it's not as nearly as much as I think Coach owes those people, but I do owe them a little bit still. I opened the negotiation with that. I'm like, I realize I owe you guys money. How do we handle that?
Right. Right up front.
Well, because if there's no way to handle it, there's no way to proceed. We may as well just call this a day right here. We don't need to go any further.
Yeah, I think there's a huge difference in owing people money and being open about it than being either naive about it or just being so bold that it's like, I'm too good to owe you money, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that's the way he operates.
You know, we dunk on these two in particular, but we've seen it before too. A lot of YouTubers, Narc, they have this idea that they're stars or something.
They're trucking YouTubers.
Oh yeah.
And their YouTube channel will get them privileges.
Yep. Facts. They think that, man. Yep, they think somehow that the 150 views, or you know, let's just be honest on the Jason thing, right? The 1,000 views that they get on an average video somehow transfers into recruiting dollars, advertisement dollars, for the company that the company won't have to spend now because of them, and they fully believe that, and I don't know where that mentality comes from, because it's very provable that I mean in Jason's case, you know, I'll say that Todd sort of skirted some of this, but has he really, right? Like, I just don't follow him as close because, you know, the situation he's in now is probably a decent one, but I'll tell you right now that what I know of Jeffrey Like is this, you know, Todd's got a brand new trailer that Jeff's buying for him. I can promise you, you know, not speaking for Jeff, that they have their claws dug in right there, right? Like, that's not a gimme. Hey, Todd, I don't know anything about you, but we're going to buy you a trailer, and we're just going to pretty much let you, you know, do as you will, and we're going to kind of foot the bill on it till you get under your, till you get under your feet, right? Or till you get on your feet here, right? Like, I don't believe for a minute that's how that situation is going at all. Right now, Todd and them may tell you on YouTube a little different, right? For show, but I don't think, you know, that guy, among others, didn't get to where they are, right? That SRO Logistics, the guy that signed for his new truck, didn't get to where he was by, you know, having Trucker Todd's signing for people like Trucker Todd for new trucks, and just being like, yeah, you gotta, you know, do whatever you do, man. I don't know. Here's a new truck, though. Well, I'll put my name on it for you.
Bell just said, you know, Trucker Todd gave Trans Am a week to reach out to him and make changes.
Yep.
And he also said, you know, Todd and Jason both have big social media influencer syndrome. Well, that's not wrong.
I've seen this with YouTube, and you know, guys, that Charlie and I resisted the moniker YouTuber forever because we didn't want to be associated with those people. Everybody thinks
those people.
Everybody thinks they're Mr. Beast. You know.
Yep. Facts. This is true, right? It's like a syndrome, and you're right. Is people. I know we're bumping on your 8 o'clock on your timeout here, but everybody in the world, right? And obviously there's a lot of them are in this room right now that are not, can't be thrown under the full blanket, but most people just generalize anything anymore, right? Like, I mean, that's just the world we're in, right? Oh man, he, I don't know. I'm thinking of a trucking thing, right? Oh, he's got a brand new truck and a brand new trailer. So he's out here doing it right. And oh yeah, he's a YouTuber. So, and he gives advice. So he must be out here, doing everything by the book and making lots of money. Right. And we know that that's not the case. But you know, the masses sadly don't think that, right? Like that's the crazy part.
Hey,
they don't think any deeper.
Do you remember? I don't know if you remember or not, but I remember something about Todd saying. I really remember this, that he said that there was going to be proof put out that he wasn't even at fault in an accident he had. Have you ever seen that?
Yep. Nope. Mind you, I have the paperwork from the two people that brought a lawsuit against him. And by the way, that is one question. And again, I'm not gonna go after Jeff liking it, but that was my biggest question, is knowing that his record, and that was really in the last 3 years, and I think we're bordering on the 3-year thing because I feel like it happened in 2023, and I could be wrong about that. Is how he worked around that for his insurance, but again, I know he has a bunch of trucks and he has a good staff, so I'm sure there's ways around that. But
on that note, we're going to questions I have. Hey, Narc's going to be live here shortly. He said you can find him over on youtube.com at Narc No Hood. Just saying NARCNOHOOD, one word, at Narc No Hood. You can find
we got a bunch of stuff too tonight. Like, we're just going to try to, I mean, I'm sure we'll get stuck in a pothole somewhere and make it, but we're going to be making fun of a bunch of people that aren't even truckers, right? Just some trash on the internet that I've been reaching out to recently. That's kind of fun.
Right. Hey, Narc, don't run away though, because I remembered something else, but it has nothing to do with that other stuff, but it has to do with Jeff's van.
Okay. 10-4. I'll be here.
So give us a couple minutes after this. Jenny, you can take Jenny out, Freight Recovery Specialist LLC. She does collections and stuff. You can go to frscollects.com. You can call her at 901-832-8052, or just reach out Jennifer at frscollects.com, and she can do some stuff for you. And you know what? She really is just a knowledgeable person. She is that info kiosk in the truck company lobby. Okay. We like Jenny. She's kind of batshit crazy. There's my first curse word the whole night right there. But we love her.
And you used it on me, really?
Yeah, of course, because that's where I want to put it. With that being said, you guys,
that's what little boys do to little girls they like.
That's right. I'm gonna pull your hair.
Yep.
Rosie will punch me for pulling your hair, I'm sure. That's all right. You guys can both.
I didn't ask him to, Rosie.
I may just like it. What? I'm just saying. What? Rosie's like, I'm gonna spank you. And I'm like, wait, I don't remember being good today. Anyhow, on that note,
deteriorating.
Yep, we're going fast. Jeff.
Oh, bye.
Something, bro.
All right, guys.
Whirling.
Keep that rubber side down, and remember, with no action, there is no traction. So get after it.
And with that being said, like always, you guys seriously look after each other. There's no one out here looking after us. I'm not even going to throw in the part about the camera and the helping people out there, just because I believe it's just a known thing at this point. But seriously, look after each other. We need to look after us as a community better. We need to hold ourselves to a better standard, and we need to do better. It's not everybody else's fault. Look inside yourself first. On that, we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Snow White, I love you. I love you. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on Trucking Talk.